India is on the verge of locking in one of its biggest defense deals in history. But the real story here isn't just the massive price tag or the fleet of new jets. Nope. It's about a hidden fight over a secret code that will ultimately decide who really, truly controls these amazing machines.
The answer to this question, believe me, could define the future of India's air power and its independence on the world stage for decades. So let's break down exactly what this code is and why it has become the single most critical sticking point in this entire negotiation.
All right, first things first, let's get a handle on the sheer size of this deal and the huge milestone it just cleared. So after a whole lot of evaluation and back and forth, the proposal for these jets has officially gotten the thumbs up from the Defense Procurement Board. Now, this isn't the final signature on the dotted line, but it is the crucial first green light. It's a huge signal that this massive deal is seriously moving forward.
But what's the big rush? I mean, why does India need 114 new jets? And why right now? Well, the answer comes down to a really critical strategic gap they're facing.
See, to handle a potential two-front conflict, India's Air Force is supposed to have 42 fighter squadrons. That's the magic number. But the reality? Right now, they only have 31. And worse, that number is actually set to drop even lower, down to just 28 as older jets get retired. That creates a really dangerous gap in their defensive capabilities. And that is where this number 114 comes in. This fleet of new Rafale jets is specifically designed to plug that strategic hole. A purchase this big would almost overnight make India one of the largest operators of this advanced aircraft in the entire world. Okay, this brings us to the real heart of the matter. Everyone's throwing around this term source code. So what on earth is it really? Think of it like the jet's DNA. Or maybe it's digital brain. It's the core software, the millions of lines of programming that tell every single part of the plane, from the engines to the missiles, exactly what to do, how to do it, and when. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. In modern air combat, the physical jet itself, the hardware, is of course crucial. But it's the software, that flying computer tucked inside, that truly defines how smart, how capable, and how lethal it can be. So what does it control? Well, pretty much everything. The mission computers, processing battlefield data, the different radar modes, the electronic warfare systems that keep the pilot safe, and here's the kicker, weapons integration. This means whoever controls the source code gets to decide which weapons can be mounted on the plane. And that leads us directly to what India is really fighting for here. This isn't just about buying jets for today, it's about owning their full capability for the next 30 or 40 years. India wants the freedom to use these jets completely on its own terms. Imagine being able to integrate your own homegrown missiles, like the BrahMos, without having to ask France for permission. Or being able to update your defenses instantly as new threats pop up. It all boils down to one critical thing: long-term strategic independence. To put it simply, India wants to make absolutely sure that if a conflict ever breaks out, they, and only they, have complete and total control over what their aircraft can and cannot do. No questions asked. But, of course, there are two sides to every story, right? So why is France so hesitant to just hand over the keys to their technological kingdom? France's position is pretty clear. A full transfer of the source code is completely off the table, and their reasoning makes sense from their perspective. That software contains decades of research, priceless intellectual property, and even top-secret NATO-level algorithms. Handing it all over would risk reverse engineering and tech leaks that could put their own security and their allies' security at risk. And it's really important to know this isn't just France being difficult. This is pretty much standard practice across the globe. The United States, for example, doesn't provide the full source code for its F-35 jet, not even to its closest allies. It's just how nations protect their most valuable military secrets. So, if a full transfer is a non-starter, where's the middle ground? How can both sides walk away feeling like they got what they needed? Well, this is where the real art of the deal begins. Instead of demanding the whole thing, India is now zeroing in on a few key non-negotiables. First, something called black box access, basically a secure way to plug in their own weapons without needing to see the core code. Second, a national emergency clause, which would grant them full access if a major war breaks out. And finally, a solid commitment to co-develop all future upgrades, which would be a huge boost for the Make in India initiative. So, what's the path to the finish line? The first hurdle, the Defense Procurement Board, is cleared. Check. Next, the proposal goes to the Defense Acquisition Council. After that, it's the final sign-off from the Cabinet Committee on Security, which is chaired by the Prime Minister. Once that final green light flashes, this historic deal becomes a reality.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating final question. As technology just keeps accelerating, this whole deal shines a light on a fundamental shift in what military power even means. Is the future of warfare going to be about who has the strongest steel or who writes the smartest code? It's definitely something to think about.